Welcome to episode Shugo Trey. Sorry.
Shugo Trey.
I'm still not good on the whole Swedish thing. That's more Sid's area. But welcome back to Video Games Are Hard. Happy Thanksgiving, all you Americans out there, including myself.
Not me.
Not Sid, but he had his in October. So
hey, I said Happy Thanksgiving to people.
There you go. He's a good sport.
Yeah, I said Happy Thanksgiving, and they said thanks, and I was just like, good. All right.
Thanksgiving is a holiday where you say thanks a lot.
I have fulfilled my requirement of Thanksgiving, even though I'm from Canada.
Yeah. And something we were talking about literally 1 minute ago, I guess they're slowly rolling out the YouTube dislike thing because my brother actually told me, he's like, yeah, I guess YouTube finally removed dislikes, huh?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I still see them personally, so maybe they just haven't gotten to me yet. So,
maybe?
Who knows? Either way, we know it's going to happen eventually.
So they are rolling it out. So like they're not hesitating. They're not pulling an OnlyFans where it's just like, hey, we're going to remove porn. And then everyone's just like, wait, no, everybody hated this idea. Let's go back on that.
Dang, I forgot they even did that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, isn't that nuts?
That is nuts.
Yeah, that is so nuts. Not that I look at a lot of OnlyFans porn, but like...
what's even more nuts is YouTube actually just following through with it. They're like, yeah, fuck y'all.
Yeah, we don't care what you guys think. Thumbs down. We thumbs down your opinion, but we can
dislike you. You can't dislike on our platform. We can dislike whatever you say, though.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go with that.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have many topics for this episode, so I figured it's been a while since we've done it. Been a long time, and maybe some of you were looking forward to another one of these. WR history.
Yes.
Whoa.
So Trey and I play Super Mario Sunshine. And
I don't know if you guys know this. We also speedrun, and speedrunning is when you... Go ahead, Sid.
Yeah, speedrunning is when you...
Run.
You run the game. And, so there's individual levels within Super Mario Sunshine. And, like, Trey's the world record history guy for Sunshine, specifically.
Quota. Got to meet that quota.
Yeah, you can go to average Trey VG and watch his any percent world record history or his 120 world record history for Super Mario Sunshine. But on the podcast, we've done random individual levels, just like the brief history of them, because we know enough. We've been around long enough to know, and some of us have even held the record for these levels.
Both of us, in fact.
And yeah, for the level we're about to talk about, we both have held the record for it.
Indeed.
Mostly my involvement is nobody played the level, therefore I just kind of had it.
Because Sid is the big player of not too popular ILs.
Yeah. Well, see, so we're going to talk about Sandbird. Because apparently, Sandbird's the new hotness. I don't know why.
I don't really know why. I played it, and then spoilers, I got the record.
No.
But then... Shocking, I know.
Wait, we're talking about the record that you have? Crazy.
Yes, weird. I brought this up because I just wanted to stroke my ego a little bit. That's the whole point.
You DM'd me last night. It's like, yeah, I was thinking about doing the Sandbird individual level world record history, and I was sitting there going like, you would want to do it.
We did Wiggler after I had Wiggler. We're doing Sandbird after I got Sandbird. You see how it goes.
When are we doing hundos? Hey,
we could do whatever you want.
Hey,
it's up to you.
When are we doing a hundo?
That's more your thing. You can do that at any point.
Hey.
But today, we're doing Sandbird. Also, reminder that, unlike my world record history videos, it's not very formal, not very well researched. We're going straight off of our memory, and we might have to BS it a little bit to like get the whole picture. But
I know enough. I know enough for the both of us. I know the start into the middle.
In the beginning, there was only hover nozzle.
Oh, okay. I'm not this far back.
And we have no idea what the record would have been. So before there was rocket storage, which was found like 2015 or so, you had to use hover nozzle on Sandbird, which means waiting out the entire bird, essentially an auto scroller. Well, first you got the entry.
Oh, yeah.
And the ideal Sandbird entry, you would do a dive, like roll out onto the mirror into a walking momentum spin, hover up the clay entrance thing, and then fall in.
Yes.
And then you would just wait on the Sandbird after getting all 7 coins until, ideally, and shout out Snarpy Bobo, who was a huge fan of this. Snarpy Bobo popularized the dive. I think he just said dive or something. Mm-hmm. Going on the earliest flat possible, doing a YOLO triple jump dive to the platform.
Yeah.
Which I was personally too scared to do back in those pre-GBS days.
It's a scary thing to do.
But Snarpy Bobo would do it. He was a man. So
it was like kind of a tight jump, and just like the window wasn't large, you know?
Like most people would just do a triple jump and do a safe hover. He would do a straight up dive though, which saved a little bit of time.
Dive,
yeah.
But yeah, so and then I remember, I like thinking back this far. I do remember when like rocket storage was found, and everybody was just like, "Oh, you can skip cloud cancels now."
Yeah,
like everybody was just like, "Oh, you can skip cloud cancels in Corona." And one of the, I'm pretty sure it was Yamata who was the first one I saw the video of Sandbird, and he just kind of went to.
So I think, was there any way to speed up Sandbird when it was only the single rocket storage? Or maybe I'm not really sure. I guess you technically could.
How long was single rocket storage a thing?
I think for a year or so.
Really?
Actually, I'm not entirely. I'm thinking of EYG was 2YG for 1 year. I don't know about rocket storage though.
I'm pretty sure it was quicker than that, but I could be definitely wrong.
But yeah, there was a period where it was only one. It wasn't as useful, obviously, as infinite. So
you do one and then skip like a couple of clouds.
Because we only knew the jump variation, which you can only do one with.
Yeah, we didn't know the sidestep animation cancel rocket storage, but I remember when double rocket storage was a thing, like to jump from there to rocket. Like, see, it makes no sense. Like you're talking about how the single rocket storage variation, and then like I found turbo storage like a few months after that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
I guess so. It was Turbo Bird at first.
Was it Turbo Bird first?
Maybe.
See, this is what we mean.
This is classic WR history. We don't really know what we're talking about.
Like you jumped back so far. I was like, oh yeah, I had the record when we double rocket storage. I was about to jump back there, but you jump. Oh, like at the beginning of time, you know?
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, hey, released 2002 for the Nintendo GameCube. Come on, we got to start day one here. Come on.
Yeah, I had the record in when? I don't know, 2016. But yeah, I guess at some point Turbo Bird.
At first, would they do like a rollout to the central column, then go from there?
Yeah, for rocket storages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like jumping from. We don't know the in between. Like, sure, somebody did a hover IL maybe and went like, oh, this is great. Like, I
don't know if anyone did ILs with just hover.
No, nobody did ILs of anything other than
it would have been
6.
Whoever had the best gold split for Sandbird had it.
Yeah, I remember having the best gold split for Bianco 4. Isn't that crazy?
Ooh, that is crazy. Thinking about it, yeah.
To go way back, just like I used to have the best gold split there. That's nowadays. Nutty. That's not even. I was on NTSCU as well. Like. Yep. It makes no sense, but
times were different.
But yeah, so like there's some in between. Sure, somebody did a hover thing, and like Turbo Bird was a thing. Now it's just a bingo thing that nobody ever does. Nobody does it in bingo. And then
no one does Turbo Bird in bingo.
Yeah, nobody does it.
Hey,
anymore.
I would do it sometimes.
I would do it.
I was a badass,
dude.
It's mainly a thing in hoverless, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because you can't do GBS hoverless, therefore you don't get the rocket in time. Mm-hmm. And you only have access to the turbo nozzle. And with turbo, there's a thing you can do. If you look up with the Y cam, you actually store more vertical speed than just like not doing that.
I found this.
Well, yeah, Sid found this. And at some point, you're charging your turbo nozzle while you're just standing there. You sidestep into the 1-up mushroom to refill your water. And based on how much water you use as like a visual cue, you eventually sidestep off, you get just enough height to reach the pillar, Perfect. And that's basically Turbo Bird.
Yeah, so. It saves half a minute over hover, but then rocket saves half a minute over that. So whatever. So the true like recorded history that I know of Sandbird.
Yeah, now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes.
Yeah, where like the IL board existed and practice codes exist and people actually care about these ILs.
In-game timer.
So Reed at some point, been on the show a couple times, he at some point was just like, I'm going to get Sandbird world record. And he posted on Twitter, it's like, oh, I got the record. And I was like, this sucks. I looked at the IL and I'm like, I have a bet, like my gold split does better than this. And I this is when I like used to highlight or like upload like unlisted videos of my gold splits from 96.
What year was this? Like 2019?
2018. 2019 sounds
so that's like pretty early in Reed's SMS career.
Oh yeah, and So he like got world record, quote unquote, posted on Twitter. I'm like, nah. And then I posted. Nah. So I was just like, oh, this is my time. So like this is where the time begins of Sandbird IL. I'd never posted anything, and then Reed said, I got it, and I was like, no, you don't. I have it. So I posted mine. It was like 3 seconds or 4 seconds better than his.
Sid was a speed bully.
And then he promptly beat it, like within 2 days or something.
Okay,
and I'm like,
go,
okay.
Let's go, Reed.
So it was like probably, what's the time now? 46?
Yeah, about 46.
So mine was probably a 51 initially. Just like from pure just doing it in runs. Like I think I used tower movement. Like I didn't even use the run cancel storage yet. And yeah, so Reed took it from me, and then there's a little bit of back and forth between him and Switchmaster.
Yep.
Putting the time down a little bit more. Reed was actually competing. I'm fairly certain. Like he has a mid 47 now.
But do you remember what was your entry to Sandbird movement back in those days?
Oh, it was god awful. It was like actually doing it this past week, I've learned so much more. But it was just like the water slide that you do, but just not caring about how fast you're going, and then just
like not as much like momentum maintenance.
Yeah, and not clipping through that wall. Not clipping through the just giving yourself more of a turnaround entering the Sandbird egg.
Yeah, there's a weird like blown out entry to the weird clay structure, and you can sort of clip through the side of it ideally, and it's kind of weird. But
yeah, like you just have to be high enough. If you get a feel for it, you'll like if you do the movement enough, you're just like, oh, okay, this will work. Oh, I'm not high enough. Yeah. Like you eventually just get into that mode, and you can perfectly reach it if you do a spin jump into a rocket, like just enough height. Yeah, and I feel like my involvement in all of this, like even Bianco 8, like there's just so many ILs where it's just like, oh, Sid had the record, and then people started to care. and so Reed started to care and got the record, and then Switchmaster and him were trading back and forth. I'm pretty sure it was just him and Switchmaster. And according to Reed was the main developer of the current entry movement as we know it. Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that's always... if Reed says it, it's like also I was there. I also saw it. Reed could lie, but I also saw it just like, oh, that entrance is really good. You have it. I'm going to keep doing whatever I'm doing, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then Switchmaster got sweaty. And there was a sweat period back when he was active. Yeah, and he and Reed were trading it back and forth, and then he got after like I don't know, a few weeks, like a month. I don't know what the time frame is in here. Like it's been 3 years since then, or 2 years. So I don't know how much like anybody was grinding anything, but Switchmaster got the record pretty solidly with like a higher 46. Yeah, Switchmaster got the first 46. And what was his comment? So Switchmaster's comment was 46.4 is limit. Yeah. And his PB was like a 46.8. So, he grinded it quite a bit. He knew it was improvable, but he's like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah. I played this past week, and I got after like an hour or so, like maybe sporadically split up by Swedish lessons that I've been doing on stream. I got like a 47.4. And I was like, looking at it right now, 47.45. Yeah, I'm like, I'm perfectly happy with this. Like, I think I'm fifth, and I'm like, cool. Awesome. Dope. With like a slow entry, like I lose 0.7 on the entry and I lose 0.7 on the Sandbird itself. But that's perfectly fine with me. But then Trey to like, I guess, finish off the history. Yeah, I guess I'll do the more modern, more recent stuff. Although we didn't mention a certain redacted person beat Switchmaster by a frame. Oh yeah? Maybe 2 frames. I don't know. It was like a 46.89. Okay. And, I saw that and I figured, well, I haven't grinded Sandbird yet. I still don't have the time for this. That could be some valuable points because I love points so much. Love points. And wouldn't it be so great if I bopped another redacted time because we're fueled by hatred, obviously? Yeah, obviously. No, not really. It was just like a side motivator, I guess. But yeah, I started grinding Sandbird about a week ago. And my entries were pretty much... what's that? Have we even said that it's an 8 red coin shine? Oh yeah, well a little bit when I was talking about the hover stuff. So yeah, you pick up the 8 when you're coins. On the bird itself, you have to collect 7 coins on the bird,
And then you literally just using rocket storage, rocket from the bird to the top, and then boom.
Yeah.
That's where the 8th coin is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get the idea. That's pretty much the level. But yeah, I started grinding Sandbird about a week ago because I wanted a time on it. I was using Switchmaster's video as a reference.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had a low 19 entry in his video.
Yeah.
And I sort of assumed like that must be the ideal thing. It's the record after all.
No.
I will just emulate his entry movement. And, it's pretty good entry movement. However, I was at one point leading up to a weekly race of any percent, doing a quick Sandbird sesh for about an hour or so leading up to it. And Found Your Gun enters my chat and says, hey, Reed has a Sandbird entry that's like 0.5 better than that. He has like an 18.57.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, goddamn, what's he doing? And so he links me his video. And I noticed that Reed has a way to maintain momentum even better. And it's dumb because, again, the more high level you get in SMS, the more RNG is involved in dumb ways. The momentum you maintain is quarter frame dependent.
Oh, is it?
Even if you jump frame perfectly, sometimes momentum is not maintained as well. But if you get the proper quarter frame triple jump movement, it allows you to do the spin jump even quicker and enter the secret that much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my grind, whenever I noticed momentum was really good, I would go for the Reed style movements. And over time, I eventually got my first 18, then like an 18.8, then an 18.6, which I choked. And I was like, man, if I finished that would have easily been record. I know I can do this.
Okay.
So then off stream, maybe that night or the next day or something, I grinded more Sandbird because I knew I had potential to get the record. And I ended up I broke the record. I bopped Redacted by a frame. I got a 46.86. But I wasn't satisfied because my Sandbird felt kind of slow. I think I had like a slow lead up to the run cancel storage. Which, by the way, we haven't mentioned this yet. You can do run cancel rocket storage, the third kind of rocket storage, and probably the most advanced, even though Sid thinks it's really easy.
It is really easy.
Literally all it is you can store a rocket from the animation of Mario stopping running.
Yeah.
So literally just running forward, holding rocket. If you release control stick back to neutral at just the right time, you'll get a rocket storage.
Yeah, it is cool because a lot of people were actually afraid of doing the run cancel on the bird, and I popularized that.
Yeah, I know I was.
So it feels kind of nice to just see everybody doing this method, except for Mod Tom, like doing the Y input, the new Y input.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into
that. But yeah, so Sid inspired me to not be a pussy about doing run cancel storage, which helped as well.
Yeah.
And then I grinded it some more. I was like, man, I got the record, but I know I can improve this. And then I just whipped out an 18.58 entry, my second best entry ever.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my best entry, I had one of those as well. It was tied for my best entry ever, but I knew I had to clutch it, and then I clutched it, and I got the current record, a 46.39 on Sandbird.
Yeah, and that's better than, yeah.
I got to mention, remember Switchmaster's comment, 46.4 is limit. I don't think so.
0.01. 0.01 better.
0.01 better than the limit.
Yeah. Fuck, there was going to...
However, I got to say, as strong as that record was, and I'm really proud of that time, there is room for improvement with a thing that Mod Tom was messing around with.
Yeah.
Because there's actually... what was up?
No, I was gonna try to explain it unless you know what it is.
You can go for it if you want.
Like instead of the run cancel at the end, you do like a jump, like Y input storage of a rocket, so that it's like a manually limp rocket, so that it doesn't go as high. Rockets. So that it doesn't go as high, and then sidestep off to a full rocket and just kind of manipulate the height at which the rocket like peaks at, so that you just don't have to fall as far onto the last coin. And
exactly.
And it's it's interesting to watch. Like he was just kind of messing around. Apparently they're thinking about just adding the like Sandbird only IL to the board.
Despin was talking about that, guys. I think Despin was like the first person to start messing around with that.
Yeah. And that would make sense. Like, it's not like Noki 3, where it's just like you're mashing through text and then you do the bottle. Like, The Sandbird has its own little movement at the start, and the movement at the start is fine, but I understand wanting to just do.
Yeah, and the Sandbird is kind of like a secret level if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's its own, it's like a sky secret level.
You just enter it fairly quickly. Yeah. My question was, what was your best entry? Because
I think 18.58 was my best. I said my second best.
Yeah.
But that was tied for my best. So like I repeated that again.
So that's funny because my before I learned the Sandbird movement during my like grind, my like half an hour grind the other day or hour, my PB was like 48 or something, and I was like, I can improve this. And I didn't know Sandbird movement, and I just kind of did what I do in runs, where it's just like go to the tail and do the rocket boost, and not nearly as efficient as whatever. And I was just like, well, like what can I get with this? And my entry was an 18.5. Oh, yeah,
that's crazy. That actually that would be an RTA sheet record right now.
Crazy.
Even though actually, I just remember right now, Reed actually has an unrecorded 18.3.
Sure, Reed. Sure.
Yeah, like we're gonna believe Reed.
No vid, no did. Am I right?
No video, no didio.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so like there's impending improvement to Sandbird, and I might like. What's funny is that you got the record, and I'm just like, I think I need to like play it just a little bit so that
this guy's a hack. So no, but the main thing I was gonna bring up is that like theoretically the entry could be improved by a few frames, but the main thing is the Despin Mod Tom manual limp rocket could save another maybe second or so.
Yeah, limp rocket like RTA for like Rico 8 or Sandbird or just like anything that you just go a little bit too high on, like grabbing the coconut and sidestepping off to go like super in the weeds of sunshine for Rico 8, even though we're in the weeds.
We're in the weeds.
If you get a limp rocket there, but like a perfectly limp rocket, and you're facing the platform and you hold forward right away, you'll make it to the plat and save, 2 or 3 seconds? And you're just kind of like, I want to do this intentionally, but like once you're past a certain point in sunshine, like when you start learning rocket storages, you're just like, oh, I'm getting limp rockets every so often. What am I doing wrong? And then you get good enough that you like stop doing limp rockets, but you can't do intentional limp rockets anymore.
Yeah, intentional limp rockets are one of the hardest things to do intentionally.
Yeah.
See, they always happen when you don't want them to.
Exactly.
But like, this Y camera method is sort of a semi-consistent way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think I've seen some really good rockets from Mod Tom, like going right to the top of the column versus my run where I go like pretty far above it and then fall down.
Yeah, because that's the strat.
So I think that 45 will definitely happen someday whenever someone implements that on top of a good entry.
Can you do Y input run cancel storage? Is that a thing?
I mean, you may as well do the jump method, right? If you're going...
Well, like then you'd be able to start charging the rocket sooner.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know? Like
it's worth looking into.
All right, but yeah, that's where the record sits. Trey has it.
But yeah, my record is pretty optimized for the strats it has, but it will be improved in the future for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's the brief. That's the brief Sandbird history that we had locked up. Past that, like Trey, I disagree with starting off with we don't have anything to talk about.
That's not true.
We can make things happen. Like we've been clawing our way through Back for Blood. We actually added Modest Tomato to the group. I wonder how that's going to affect our like group mentality.
I think there may be some growing pains. You gotta like sort of get in the team mindset that we have already.
Yeah,
because I think as a team we work pretty well together.
Yeah, I think it's fun as shit. But like I'm thinking like, oh, we're putting a group together, and then like either Mod Tom or one of the four like that we've already had established is just kind of left out in the cold. So like because it's a 4-player game and now we have 5 people in the group and we're just like well,
I mean, it may have to be that way because it's hard enough getting all of our schedules to line up.
Oh yeah, true.
So it seems like more often than not someone's not going to be able to do it at a certain time.
Yeah.
So I think it's good this way.
But yeah, so we're clawing through it.
Yeah, we got through a segment where you have to get through 3 levels in a row on one checkpoint.
Yeah, we were complaining about that last week. I actually re-listened to the Mod Tom episode, and we were just like, I actually listened to it after we beat the checkpoint, and I was just like, oh yeah, we were like still curious as to whether those 3 essentially Left 4 Dead length levels were all required to be beaten with like 2 attempts in order to get to the next checkpoint, and they were.
And like actually, but the first time we got to that 3rd level, we beat it first try.
Yeah.
Well, second try, we used to continue.
Yeah, we used to continue, but like.
And also that 3rd level was pretty damn fun, I gotta say. You were in a bar, and it was just this big ambush segment where there were all these waves. This jukebox was going off.
Yeah.
And we were just defending this bar, and it was a lot of fun. It was stressful because we knew a lot was on the line. If we failed this, we gotta start from square one again.
Yeah.
But we pulled through, we clutched it out, we fended off that jukebox, and we had a good time.
I had an open mind. I had my like gun that I was going through the whole time with, just like a rifle. And then KO was just like, if you don't pick up, or like just to the world, he wasn't talking to me, but he was just talking to us. And he's just like, if you don't have this shot, like if you don't pick up this shotgun, you're making a mistake. And I was just like, fuck it, I'll just pick up this shotgun.
Wait, why was that?
I think he was actually saying just in general, like if you have a shotgun and it's not as good as this shotgun, you need to pick up this shotgun. And I just kind of had a rifle, and I was just kind of like, my rifle's just kind of whatever. Like they're one shot and fine, but like if I pick up a shotty, then we're in close quarters and we're making it work. And
see, the shotgun was good for being inside the bar. My role I adapted to in that segment was, I was on the outside of the bar for the most part, on like one side of it.
Yeah.
And I was just continuously shooting. They were climbing over this fence. I would just get most of those guys. Mm-hmm. And then occasionally someone would come from behind me. I was pretty much just fending off like one side of the outside area. So I just kept my same submachine gun, and it worked out just fine.
I'm just glad that we got through it within the 2 checkpoint, or the 1 continue or whatever.
Yeah, that was clutch.
Because like our first attempt was just kind of like messy. And I was just like, okay, now we get it. And we had the second continue, and we went through it. And I remember at the very end, like there's this car that pulls up, and it's like the end of a Left 4 Dead just level.
Oh, yeah, there was like a Humvee.
Yeah, there's this Humvee that shows up, and instead of like the end of No Mercy in Left 4 Dead, where you jump on the helicopter, you just climb into this Humvee. And like Trey and I jumped in, like it said press E to enter, and Dap, Yee, and KO jump on top and just stand there, and we're just like sitting there. We're sitting there for like we're like sitting there for too long, and I'm just sitting there going
like, is there more to this getting in the Humvee thing than I realized? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, they just like look down, and I'm just like, press E, enter the Humvee, and they're just like, oh, and then they press E, and then we all survive. But there was like a 10-second period where we're just sitting there going like, you just got to enter the Humvee. You just got to press E on the Humvee. And we survived that, so that was good. That was the first checkpoint officially that it was not only me that won.
Oh yeah, it wasn't just Sid saving the day by running to the end.
It's the only one. Every other checkpoint has been like, oh, basically I save myself and make it to the end. Yeah. Or like KO kills himself and go on without me or whatever. But this is the first time where we just all survived and we were fine and continued on.
Honestly, it could have ended up being just like any person of us 4 being the one to clutch it out. It just always happens to be you for some reason.
Apparently, like I think I have so many more hours in Left 4 Dead than any.
Oh yeah, I mean, you definitely have more experience than me in this game.
Yeah, like,
but I'd say that at least I'm definitely improving the more we play it.
Yeah, we're enjoying it. We're trying to schedule some every so often. Like I know that you wanted to play tomorrow night, which
I was thinking because tomorrow I'm not going to the gym, so actually we can start, not at midnight. So.
Yeah, so that might be a good time. I know I have to. I'm doing a Stardew Valley with Ruthira every Sunday.
Yeah, do you want to get into that?
Sure.
Opening this up, Stardew Valley. Yeah. You were a big fan of Farmville back when Facebook was cool.
Yeah.
And Stardew Valley, it's like Farmville without the Facebook part, so it's better.
Hey, yeah, you know what? That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, how are you enjoying that game?
Lately I've needed a break game. Like we've been talking about Back for Blood, and we're clawing our way through the middle tier difficulty, even though it's like still really hard.
It's called veteran. Come on, we're veterans, guys.
Yeah, we're veterans. There's easy, veteran, and then whatever nightmare.
I think it's nightmare. I don't even want to imagine nightmare. That sounds like a nightmare to me.
We'll get Mod Tom to help us through that one, but
oh yeah, Mod Tom could solo that one.
Yeah.
We need him.
That's his intro to the game. It's like, oh, how does the game work? And we're just like, nightmare. But like with Vanquish Godhard and Sunshine Grinding and just all of these games where it's just like, oh, just play as well as you can. And
well, hey, first of all, Sunshine's not even a game. It's a movement simulator, according to Lumardi.
Yeah.
I kind of get where he's coming from, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a way of life.
But lately there's just been like, oh, play well or you suck,
Yeah,
And sometimes you just need that. Maybe you got a little bit of it from Dark Souls off stream where you're just kind of like, were able to just kind of claw your way through and not care if you died or whatever.
Well, it was a pretty tough game. It wasn't exactly. Oh, yeah. It wasn't no cakewalk.
I'm equating it to Stardew Valley, Dark Souls.
Well, more like Animal Crossing, to where there's not really any stakes.
But yeah, I've needed a break from like super hard games, and the only I bought Stardew Valley a few months ago to play it with KO for like 80 minutes.
You know what's funny is I bought Stardew Valley probably 3 years ago to play with Quaniza.
Oh yeah,
and we never got around to it. It's just sitting on my PC. Maybe I'll get to it someday. I don't know.
Maybe.
At the moment, I don't really need a break kind of game, but someday when I do need that break game like you're talking about,
yeah,
I might whip it out. We'll see.
But so yeah, we've actually done 2 weeks so far. So Ruhira and I Ruhira of Sims 2 custom content and Bingo, Super Mario Sunshine Bingo
fame,
restreaming and just around the community and commentary and stuff. We've been doing 2 weeks of Stardew Valley. We have to do. We're doing another one tomorrow. And
is that 2 weeks in-game time or like IRL?
We've done 28 in-game days.
Okay, because I don't really know. There's a day system in that game, I know.
Yeah, I think we're like total like 6 hours in.
Okay.
I think we had like a 4-hour stream last Sunday and a couple-hour stream the other week.
So what all do you do in that game aside from just farming? And from what I've seen, there's NPCs. You can go in caves.
Yes.
There's maybe some other stuff. I don't know.
So I had 80 minutes in the game before we started playing, and it was mostly just me and KO just kind of shooting the shit.
And you're just like, this sucks.
Well, no, it was just us shooting the shit and making fun of the fisherman. Like, there's a fisherman, and we were just like, we're just poking fun, just offline, just shooting the shit.
I thought it was one of those like Terraria moments where KO's trying to get you into it, and you're like, I'm not really feeling this, KO.
Terraria, oh my god,
Sid was not having a good time with Terraria.
we could talk about Terraria, but
okay.
So I have 80 minutes in the game, and Ruhira has over 500 hours. And
she's a pro. She's carrying you, I bet.
Yeah, totally. She's explaining to me the the community center goals, like what fish to bring, like to donate to the community center so that we can achieve goals and like get rewards and get more money, and like we're going through this like farm.
So you're going through, she's like optimizing everything, like, okay, we got to get this fish this exact time, we got to do this. You're like, these flowers are cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just chilling over here.
I remember like our last session, she was just like, okay, because I'm really good at the fish minigame. Like I found my niche. It's the fish minigame.
You know what? Every good video game has a fish minigame. and Fire Emblem Three Houses had one.
And this one's pretty fun. You just have to I don't know, satisfying, I guess. Maybe not fun.
Ocarina of Time as well. I'm just saying.
Fish mini games.
Sonic Adventure DX, Big the Cat. All the good games.
The Twilight Princess fish mini game. You just kind of.
I never really played that one, to be honest.
You just hold the pole out of the water.
Dude, as much as I played TP, I never really fished in that game.
There's like a whole fishing hole that you have to get.
I didn't give a shit about the fishing.
It sucked. It sucked so bad.
Maybe that's why.
But Stardew Valley, there's this like little meter that shoots up, and like everybody's probably played some degree of Stardew Valley, and like right away you just kind of get a fishing pole and fish. But you have to just keep your, this will get you. You know the breathing of the feather in Celeste, where you're keeping the feather in the box.
Feather. Oh yeah. The stress relief thing.
Yeah. You're just imagine the feather is the fish and the box is what you control with like clicks, right?
Okay, so this little thing's going up and down. You're keeping it in the range.
Yeah, you keep it in the range. And there's also these treasure chests that show up that like you have to almost get the fish and then like optimize to go get the treasure chests before the meter goes all the way down and then get the fish again. I don't know. There's like fun little idiosyncrasies with it, and So Ruthira was just like, okay, you're the fish guy. Go.
You're the fish guy.
Okay, it's raining. Go to the bridge in the middle of town and fish until you get a catfish, or I can't remember what it was, because it literally I fished for like 3 minutes at like 10 a.m. game time, which is very early, and got like the Joja Cola. You can fish random stuff out of the water, but the first fish that I got was the catfish, and she was just like, oh, well, that's done. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. I don't have to be here for the entire
day.
You're
a fishing god, I guess.
I guess, but it's been like we've been we farm in the morning, and then we just kind of do whatever we want, just kind of chilling on stream. Ruthira and I, she goes into the mine and makes fun of how bad I am at the combat, and I'm just like, it's Stardew Valley. There's combat in this game.
Wait, I didn't know there was combat in
right?
That
game. But it's just like you get a sword. And there's there's slingshot. There's a slingshot that I know she doesn't like using it, but I've been trying to use it, which is fine. But I don't know. It's just been kind of like a relaxing time. Like, she knows what she's doing, and she just kind of every so often tells me what I should do, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just do that with my Stardew Valley day. And it's just been a relaxing way to just stream on a Sunday. Which
is it better than Farmville?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's better than Farmville, because you don't plant what? It's just like, oh, I'm going to be at my computer in 2 hours. I'm going to plant strawberries. And
yeah, there's a lot more to it, obviously. So.
And then you're just like, oh, I think I'll be at my computer in another 2 hours, more strawberries. And then just like, okay, I'll be on after school, so I'll plant corn. You know, that's a 16-hour. I remember corn being 16 hours. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that every Sunday.
On Stardew Valley Sunday?
On twitch.tv/Ruthira and twitch.tv/SidedWilliams, just kind of both streaming it. But it's been nice and cash. It's been cool.
Is there like an ultimate goal to that game, or is it just sort of you just go day to day?
I don't know.
Do you like defeat the Ender Dragon or what?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's an Ender Dragon to defeat. There is marriage. You can marry random NPCs. I've been trying to date Sebastian. He's like the like basement bad boy guy that just kind of says,
are you a female character?
No.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, you're going a little progressive there.
Yeah.
See.
And
I respect it.
His favorite thing is frozen tears. Because he's just like a goth kid or something. I don't know.
Frozen tears?
Yeah, like in the mines you can pick up frozen tears. And Ruthira's been giving me frozen tears to give to Sebastian. And I'm just like,
that's nice of her.
Because I want to venture forth with this. But I don't know.
Best of luck with that.
Yeah, but like you can like marry random and some of the NPCs. Like there's a lot of everybody.
That's like Harvest Moon, I guess.
I guess I don't know what.
Which I've never played a Harvest Moon, but I know you do that in that game. So
yeah, but mostly we've just been kind of, I don't know, farming and then selling and then buying more seeds and then fishing and then selling and then donating some of the fish. But having a fun time along the way, just kind of bantering. It's been chill.
Cool.
And
that sounds like a chill stream.
Yeah. And that's been my break.
That's sweet. Something that's coming up in my near future. Have you heard of Glitch Infinite?
Yeah, I have.
So yeah, it's going to be a Smash tournament, Smash Ultimate, which, to be honest, I haven't followed Ultimate since like a few months after the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be hosting a speedrunning side events type deal at Glitch Infinite. It's going to be like January 14th to 16th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they've invited a few speedrunners out. They invited me, of all people, even though I'm washed up. Like, who am I, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, yo, Average Trey, want to join this like speedrunning? I'm assuming it's mostly going to be a GDQ style marathon type deal, but they're maybe going to try to do some other content of some kind they come up with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess I have this original tweet up. It says, we're inviting the speedrunning community to Glitch Infinite. Together with Global Speedrun, Glitch will showcase exhibitions, runs, and races to support Tackle Kids Cancer.
Oh yeah.
Featuring Trihex, Cheese, Illumina HD, and more. So I got some big names up there.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny is that I think like half of the people in the Discord group of like the invitees are Minecraft runners.
Oh yeah.
And I don't really know any Minecraft runners, but I'm like, all right, Minecraft, it's a big game. I can see why that's the case.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of Minecrafts, a lot of other stuff, I guess. I guess I'm like almost guaranteed to have a Sunshine run in.
Okay.
And if not, I know like Odd Me was trying to get maybe like 120 shines in. I'd compensate for that. But if I'm doing a run, that's cool. I'd definitely be down for that.
Yeah.
Because I've actually been playing any %, so I'm pretty warm on it.
Yeah, and you're close to PBing and everything like that.
Yep. And it's on the East Coast. I'm going to be going to Maryland. It seems like everything's in Maryland. Like the GDQs I went to were usually in Maryland, except for SGDQ was in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll be planning on going. But yeah, it's in a couple of months, so we'll see.
It's been announced you're going?
Yeah. I already knew about this for a couple of weeks, but they finally like announced me recently. So
you want to talk about your photo?
Yeah. There's like, so on the submission form for like officially, like they call us like the VIPs signing up for it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a form that we filled out, and one of the sections was provide a headshot from like any formal occasion, like a yearbook photo essentially.
Yeah.
Or some shit. And I'm sitting there like, I don't like have any recent formal photos of me per se, except for like my driver's license maybe. I'm just going to roll over to my kitchen really quick, snap a quick photo and send it in because I don't know what they're using it for. And I guess they used it for like the Twitter promotional thing, and I'm up there looking derpy as hell. It's like, yeah, there he is, Average Trey.
Average Trey, he's coming to our event. Look at that.
I have like the shittiest lighting ever. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I didn't know they were going to use it for that, but yeah, there you go. So
yeah, it's. I know you've been talking about it for like a couple months and everything.
Yeah, I'm excited. I guess it's mostly the Smash tournament, and again, I don't know anything about modern day Smash. I don't even know like the good characters anymore compared to what it was when I started.
Sora's good.
Sora's good. Okay, I had no idea.
I saw a meme this morning where it was just like, oh, Banjo, Kazooie, and Sora, and they're just like, oh, people have been clamoring for us to be in the game for. Like they're shaking hands, and the paragraph says like, oh, people clamoring for years to have them in Smash, and just to be deemed lame to play a month later.
Damn.
And that's it.
But yeah, I'm excited. The main reason I'm excited is that this will be the first in-person speedrun event I've gone to since SGDQ 2019. Because I would have gone to HDQ 2020, but it was the exact same time as my family vacation to Hawaii was planned.
Oh, yeah.
So that conflicted, and then unfortunately COVID happened. Again, I'm gracious that our family trip happened right before COVID. That was really good timing.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I met any speedrun peeps, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, we were recording the podcast at around that time.
Oh yeah, season 1 was happening at that time. That was when we took our 2-week break for that.
After like 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think that was like episode 15 or so.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Do you have any idea of how long this season is going to be? Just like random question.
I don't know. I want to try to hit episode 50.
Yeah, I think we'll do that pretty easy.
But I can't guarantee it'll just go on forever. It's got to stop at some point, right?
I think so.
I don't mean to get like existential or anything like that.
We've never talked about it offline. Like, I know season 1, we were like, let's go for a year. And then,
I think that we should aim for episode 50 and episode 100 overall.
Yeah.
And that will be the episode where we do our live reaction to our first 90% race ever. Mm-hmm. Which I'm super excited for. That's going to be awesome. I bet.
I have no idea what the hell we talked about.
It might be good. Maybe it'll be cringy a little bit.
Just like, this is the first conversation we've ever had.
Yeah. But it's so cool that it's highlighted because it just happened to be a PB for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should go to episode 50 of season 2, and then we'll gauge it from there. If we're like, yeah, we'll take a break.
Yeah, I like that idea. We've literally not talked about it. We was just like, let's start season 2, and we've just been doing season 2.
Yeah, we're just sort of going along,
Yeah, because I know season 1 we were just like, okay, year, and then like right off the bat we just decided year, and I'm like, cool, let's do that. And then we were just like, okay, when's season 2 starting? And then we just kind of went, I guess by the end of June. Like we just like made like we finally just made a decision as to when to start season 2, and then we've never really talked about it.
I definitely think that it'd be good to like take another break after a certain period of time because towards the end of season 1 we were sort of running out of not really ideas but vigor, I guess.
Yeah.
We were just sort of rolling up like, yeah, I guess we got to record. All right, let's fucking do the thing.
See, it gives you a little bit of perspective because all of these podcasts that are like some podcasts that are daily and some podcasts.
Dude, I don't understand how you can record a daily podcast.
Yeah. And some people like some podcasts going thousands of episodes not every week, but like weekly for thousands of episodes.
Thousands of episodes every week.
Thousands of episodes.
These guys are insane.
And it's just, we're doing episode 500 in a row of weekly episodes. It's just like, wow, that's tough.
You gotta stop at some point. Even Joe Rogan's gonna stop at some point.
Like Trey was entering this podcast being like, yeah, I don't have anything on the list. And I'm just like, I really didn't focus on putting anything on the list either.
I had a few things.
Glitch Infinite.
Mention that. Sandbird WR. Tackled those.
I wanted to talk about Stardew Valley a little bit. And
I'll get my finishing thoughts on Dark Swoleses, I guess.
Yeah, we can do that. I can talk about, you wanted to know where I was in Swedish.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you do that first because I was just talking for a while.
Okay, so Swedish. I'm learning Swedish.
Indeed.
I'm clawing my way through it. I have my Duolingo up every so often. Like if you've tuned into my stream within the past 2 weeks, you have seen in the bottom left corner or during the intro cutscene of Sunshine. Like I'm taking the Trey method, the Trey modality.
Yeah. Originally the Wilco method, but now Sid is applying it to an actual useful application, not just playing Minish Cap. So.
Yeah, like it is kind of nice to just like be able to reset and be like, okay, we're just gonna continue this Duolingo lesson or start another one or whatever. Speaking of Wilco, this is the first time I've ever seen him. It's been in my chat twice since I've started Duolingo.
Ooh, because he's been learning Japanese, and I always see Wilco on Twitter saying, "I just reached kanji level 40." And like, dope, man. I don't know what that means, but dope.
Good stuff. And
level 40, big level.
Yeah, he came into like a stream the other week and was just like, "Oh, you're sticking to it." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sticking to it. I'm trying to like get better at this."
Wait, so if Wilco's kanji level whatever, are you a certain level in Swedish?
I'm past checkpoint 1 in Duolingo. I'm almost at checkpoint 2. I don't know
level
what
2.
level.
That's where shit gets real.
I don't know what levels like kanji levels are to equate them.
Or wait, maybe it's possible Wilco doesn't even use Duolingo, does he?
I don't.
He might use a different app.
Probably.
Because they might have like a different checkpoint or level system or something.
So my story with Swedish so far is just kind of like, so when I was like partway through the first level or like even started the second, the after the first checkpoint in Duolingo, I was just like, oh man, I was feeling myself. I was just like, I'm learning, like I'm pretty much getting the hang of this. You know when it's just like, oh, you're so dumb that you like don't realize, what is it?
Yeah. There's a. I think I covered this in my Speedrunners Hate Their Lives video.
Yeah.
I love saying that. Speedrunners hate themselves video.
Hate their lives. Hate their runs.
There's a weird scenario where when you're brand new to something, you don't realize how little you actually know.
Yeah.
And so you sort of assume you're like, oh yeah, I'll just go along. I'm going along swimmingly. This is easy. And then the more you know, you get to actually the scariest point in the learning process.
Yeah.
Where you don't know enough to be a master, but you know enough to know how little you actually know.
Yeah.
And that's when you reach the scariest point of learning. when you're learning any skill at all, that's always the scariest point where it's like make or break. It's like, do you push through that feeling of, God, I don't know anything, and then eventually push into mastery after a long push? Or do you just give up and say, hey, it's not for me, it's too much trouble?
I'm pushing through.
You're going to push through?
I hit that point. I was like, oh man, I'm getting such a great handle of this. Oh wow, I feel like I'm doing so well. And like Ropan, like a bunch of like Swedish people in my stream, like not Ropan isn't Swedish, but he's been around.
That's a good idea to stream at good European hours. As
well, like that's when I stream. So it's just like I just had these people, not that I had these people, but these people were in my chat, and then I was just like, oh, I'm learning Swedish, and they're just like, oh, we know Swedish. And I was like, cool. So they've been helping me out and like being very complimentary with how well I've been doing, and like if I get a really hard sentence or whatever and arrange the sentence correctly, it's just like, yeah, and it feels good. Like there's definitely some specific questions during some lessons where I'm just like, that felt so good to get correct. And like I arranged the sentence correctly. I put the adverb after the verb. I like there's just like small differences that are required in Swedish, like placement of adverbs, placement of adjectives, how adjectives are spelt, like to make to make every word in the sentence plural. Like instead of just making like the dogs run, or like not the dogs run, the black dogs run, you have to make like the word black also plural.
You got to say those blacks dogs runs.
Kind of. And you have to like put the A at the end of black which is svarta, and then it's like hundar, which is dogs. So it's just like the black dogs instead of just svart hund. And so it's like interesting, like what kind of, I might be butchering a little bit of this because like
you're doing great. You're doing great.
I just have a random brain leak from like, I've literally had conversations on stream about like certain words or certain rules that have just like bled out of my, and then the next day or like later that same lesson, just like, this. And I'm like, shit. Like I just like scratching my head or whatever. But like I had that moment that where it's just like, oh, I know all of this stuff. I'm getting a great handle of this. And then I hit adjectives. And I knew I know what lesson it was. It's just like I hit adjectives.
Adjectives are where boys become men.
I hit adjectives and they were just like, okay, now learn every word. And I was like, ooh. Oh, this is tough. And I have my page of Swedish actually in my hand right now. And it's like pages upon pages of just random Swedish words. Just like completely is like some stämmer is correct. Like there are words in Swedish that don't like fit the English language. Like where just like to have enough energy is a verb in Swedish. Like not just to have enough energy in English. It's just like it's just one word in Swedish, and some words just don't really. And my metaphor for Swedish that I made up on stream once was that the sock of Swedish doesn't really fit, or no, the foot of Swedish doesn't fit in the sock of English. Where it's like,
because there's not always a word for every word.
Exactly.
Like there's a word for multiple words together.
You just have to
like you just said.
Yeah, you just have to like get the idea of it and like get the like spirit of Swedish. But like if you put if you try to shove the foot of Swedish in the sock of English, there's going to be toes that poke out.
You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, there's going to be toes that poke out or whatever. And that's what I'm just like trying to go by. I'm trying to keep my mind open to that stuff where like Duolingo can have a sentence and I'm like, well, now if I just try to apply this to Swedish, maybe it doesn't 1-to-1 and I'll try to like turn it a little bit and shove it into Swedish and then it'll work and that'll feel really good. But the moment was adjectives where it's just like, here's every word. And then I hit adverbs and it was just like, okay, now you have to learn like different orders of like different order requirements of the words. Cause like earlier on in the lessons for questions, it gets very confusing. Like the order of words where it's just like, you have to put the verb first. Instead, like, it's like, what are you doing? It's like, do, it's hard to think of examples.
Orders of words for things are definitely something that, speaking in English, I take for granted a lot.
For sure.
Because, and I remember seeing this somewhere recently, when you describe an object in multiple different adjectives, there's sort of like an unwritten rule to the order they have to go in, like description wise.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is, but it's like color or whatever thing. It's like the red velvets thing, like different kinds of describing something have to go in a certain order or else it sounds weird.
Yeah.
And stuff like that you don't really think about until you're learning a new language. And it's like, well, what's the proper sounding order?
Yeah.
So
it's exactly tough. That with Swedish. And then there's just like and then there's in addition to that for the adjectives or even the adverbs, it's like the plural version of it or the et word version of it or the en word version of it. Because there isn't like masculine or feminine. I was kind of talking about this the other podcast, but it's just like different. It isn't masculine or feminine, but you just have to know which one's which, like et versus en words. You just have to kind of know or like do the little bit of research into it. which changes like the way that they pluralize or the way that they like. An interesting thing about Swedish is that the word "the" combines with a lot of, or like all of the nouns, where it's like like a dog is en hund, but then the dog is hunden. So you just put the n at the end, so it's the dog.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and then plural is a whole different beast where it's like hundar or hundar, and then the dogs are hundarna. So you
I like how you said whole different beast and you're talking about dogs.
Yeah,
that was clever.
It's a whole different beast. And but I'm like, but yeah. So I hit adjectives and adverbs, and I've realized that I'm just like, whew.
You're realizing you've just hit the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, there's just this whole kettle. Like I have to remember what completely, like just all of these different words, and trying to like remember what behind is. Bakom is behind, and like there's just all these different words that I have to remember now.
One question I've always considered: I don't have any plans on learning a new language because I don't really have any viable application to do that, to commit that much time to it. But if I were to learn a new language, do you think you're able to learn purely from just going through the app lessons? Or is there like outside stuff you got to do to really get it into your head?
At first, I was listening to podcasts. I was listening to a Swedish podcast. What was it? Coffee Break Swedish. And like it's a guy from the UK who's learned all of these. He started with like Coffee Break Spanish and was doing a lesson period with Swedish, and that's how I learned the numbers, and that's how I learned just like how to say words. But the thing about listening to a pure podcast is that I didn't know how to spell anything, and
right,
which is like a lot of Swedish because there are actually 3 extra vowels in Swedish. So
have you tried watching any like Swedish, or you have like Swedish movies or shows?
Yeah, we've been watching. I watched I'm gonna fuck up the pronunciation, and Rutir is gonna hate me. But Shustavalt.
You're gonna say Shawshank Redemption. I'm like, oh yes, I know that one.
Ooh, you ever seen Shawshank? Dude, greatest movie of all time.
Classic movie.
But yeah, we watched Quicksand. It's called Quicksand in English, which is like a 1-season show. It's interesting, and we've been watching The Bridge. Bron. Hopefully I'm not like I've been having such an issue saying the bridge because it's Bron, like bro is bridge, but then the bridge is with the N at the end. Bron. And
it's tricky.
Like, yeah. And it's funny because we watched the first season, and then since watching the second season, I was actually understanding what people were saying periodically. And I actually corrected one of the subtitles. Which was like a feather in my cap. They said like, I can't remember what it was specifically, but they said directly phase 1. And I think the subtitle said like exactly or something. And I was just like, oh, and I can't remember what exactly the subtitle was, but I remember pointing it out and being like, ha. And
that's impressive. But that being said, captions are often pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but, one of the funnier things is one of the subtitles was I guess I'm going home, and they said they said good night. Like they said good night or good night.
You get the idea. It works.
They just said good night, and then the subtitle was just like, hey, I'm gonna go home. I'm just like
do you think you'd be able to learn the language purely through the app, or does the app itself highly recommend that you use outside stuff as well?
Oh, I see some people. Who was it? It was somebody in my chat was saying that Duolingo wasn't great on its own, but there's a lot of like you can go into the tips as well. Like even in specific lessons, you can click on the discussion thing for each lesson or each like specific question, and then there might be a little discussion as to why like that form of for or that form of is or whatever, because there's different like a little obviously different,
little weird nuances that English has so many of that we take for granted as well.
Yeah, because like we say for like we use the mouse.
We're playing
the computer.
golf. We're saying for,
No, that's fire. That's different. But like we use the mouse for the computer or whatever. There's different forms of literally FOR. Like
that just reminded me of. Did you know that there's like a bazillion definitions for the word set?
No.
I think set has the most definitions of any word in the English language.
I did not know that.
Because there's set an alarm, set your table, set your watch, set your dick. Like, there's so much stuff.
Set your dick.
You know?
Dude, I love that definition.
Yeah, it's one of them in there, I'm sure. So,
But yeah, I think the way I've been doing it is really good because, like, I was doing Duolingo on my own for a bit, and then I decided to do it on stream. And, like, the first couple streams, and I know there was a comment the other week on the podcast being like, oh, I caught one of those Duolingo streams, and now I'm learning Korean. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I thought that was it was like a really sweet message, and I thought it was very nice. And I was
like, yo, I just watched Squid Game. I gotta learn Korean now.
I gotta learn Korean now. But I like to think that if somebody shows up to one of my Duolingo streams and then goes like, okay, so this guy's trying to learn a second language and he's doing like okay at it. If he can do it, I can do it. You know?
Oh yeah, this guy, this degenerate speedrunner can do it. I can do it.
Yeah, and I've been making some progress. I also have like a lot of help in the chat. And
you have a great chat for what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's been like really nice to just go through it, and like if I have a question, I just kind of ask, and if they're receptive to it and they answer it, then cool, and if they don't, I'm just kind of like I could try to figure it out on my own. But like that makes it so that each lesson ends up being close to 40 minutes, which isn't really that optimal, but like I'm definitely getting less experience points from Duolingo now that I'm doing it more on stream than I'm doing it just on my phone, because there's definitely ways to gamify it. And just kind of earn more experience. Because if you just like grind some lessons, it'll eventually, on mobile, you could just be like, oh, 2 times experience. I'm like, okay, I'm going to legendary some skills and just go back up. And it doesn't like, and like do 40 experience points missions, which would double your, and then you double that XP, which gets you 80 experience points, which is like a lot because each lesson is like, what, 20 experience points?
Are there any double XP weekends in Duolingo?
No, it's not Call of Duty.
Do you think the amount of experience you have equates to real experience, or
no,
it's just like some random number?
But it's not just experience. There's like you're in leagues with other people online.
Oh, it's competition.
Yeah, so
there's
I'm
a leaderboard. This is speedrunning.
Yeah, I'm in the Emerald League. And I've been
good Pokemon game.
I guess, and then. Like if you get your double XP, you're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to commit the next 15 minutes to legendarying this mission or this lesson that dude, I've been literally calling them missions.
This mission.
I've been literally calling them Swedish missions. But
you know, I was talking about this before. The way to get kids more involved in school is you gamify school itself. You know, you scrap the whole A being the highest letter grade, have S be the highest,
triple S,
because every kid wants to have an S rank.
It's like, bro,
we're gonna call them ranks, not grades, and we're gonna call them missions, not lessons. You know, just make the whole thing a game. Really?
No, I think it's definitely helping me. Like, there's some motivation behind the scenes other than the gamification, but the gamification helps. Like actually getting some satisfaction, like what I was saying, where it's just like every so often I'd get a question and it would be difficult enough, and when I get it right, I'm like, oh, that felt so good. Like there is some serotonin that just like gets pumped into my brain, and I'm like, dope. But
dopamine is dope.
Exactly. But like there is the 2 times XP. It's just like, oh, I got the 2 times XP. I'm gonna go get these.
I'm gonna go ham on this mission.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get 270 experience points without even breaking a sweat. And like there is those moments, but overall, I've just been trying to fish my way through it, and doing them during the opening cutscene. And like even just in general at the bottom of the run, like sometimes I'm just kind of chilling and not doing the Duolingo, but I've actually added it to the corner of my stream. So it's
is it a thing where you don't want to reset because you're like, fuck, I gotta learn Swedish now?
I think I've actually done that once, where it's just like, oh man, I don't want to. Like,
I don't want to do more Swedish. I want to finish this run.
I don't feel like doing this right now, but I have added them to the bottom corner of my stream. So it's like it's instead of some part of my live split layout, it's just a part of the Duolingo, and like just the question that I'm on or whatever. And I can go multiple episodes in Sunshine just without even thinking about it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, what's the current, like, what question am I on? And then and then I'll just like if there's a lull in the chat, or if there's a lull in, like, I don't want to pay attention to the game for a minute or whatever. I'm just like, oh, okay, what's the next Swedish question? And then it's still on stream for people in the bottom left corner that care, and it's still like pumping the audio in. And like like, I kind of don't like how much Duolingo has kind of taken over my stream, but it's like,
hopefully it's not too distracting from getting PBs and SMS, right?
I think it kind of is to some extent.
But it's worth it.
But yeah, it's been fun. And like, what was it? I was close to getting any percent PB the other week. It's a tough grind, but like adding Swedish to it, I don't know.
Yeah, we've both been close to PB and any percent, but you're definitely overdue for it.
Yeah,
because you've had a 116 for way too long. You could easily get a 115 just any day now.
Yeah,
I'm more like I gotta be sort of lucky and clutch to get a mid 114, but I can also do that.
It sucks because one of my runs last week was minus 30 in Noki 6.
Ooh, man.
And I died.
Yeah, you just got to get more runs like that.
And then it almost PB'd still, and then I got gooped.
Ooh.
And I was just like, oh, like that sucks.
That's the thing is you got to just break that minute barrier, and then you can get 115s like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's tough though, but yeah, I'm grinding my way through SMS a little bit and Swedish.
One more question I had on Swedish. What is your end goal with Swedish? Do you plan on going to Sweden, or is there some sort of other thing for that?
I plan on going to Sweden.
That'd be dope.
And talking. See, the thing about Sweden is that if I went there and just spoke English, it'd be fine.
I always thought it'd be cool to go to Europe, but I'm like, everyone's gonna think, oh, this guy's a hack tourist, doesn't know the language. Yeah, but you would actually know, like, you would know what's up.
Yeah, so. Like when they're talking about dogs, you know.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, the plural of dogs. Yes.
And then I just talk about the etymology of just dogs or whatever. I like that it's hund. I don't know.
It's like hound.
Yeah, I've never really thought about the like because bird is Vogel. Like
Vogel.
F-O-A. Like
it's an F. Okay.
Yeah, F-O-A-G-E-L.
Is OA the O with two dots over it?
No, it's the A with the O on top of it.
Oh, it's an A. I thought it was the right letter.
Yeah, it's OA.
That's how little I know.
O with the umlauts is like
I love the O with the two dots because it's like an upward surprised face. That's my favorite letter.
Sure. But, well, like the A with the two dots or with the umlaut is an O with a surprised face with a little bit of a hair behind it.
See, Spanish only has like the two symbols. There's the ñ letter with the squiggly over the N.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's accents. But Swedish has a lot more going on above the letters, doesn't it?
Yeah. Swedish actually has the accents over the E as well sometimes. It's not a lot. But I've randomly run into them, and I've been like, I see this there's this accent aigu on top of this. That's French.
Oh, yeah.
There's this thing, and then they're just like, yeah, there isn't a lot of words like that, but yeah, that's there. But
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been picking my way through it. I've definitely come to that moment where I'm just like, fuck. Like, this is... I definitely had a stream last week where I was just like, I'm getting destroyed on two fronts. Like,
I'm getting worse at Swedish. I'm getting worse at Sunshine. Like, what's going on here?
Sunshine is raking me over the coals, and then when my respite, my Swedish respite, and I'm just like, I don't know how to arrange this sentence. Like, I just can't. And it's
dang, that sounds frustrating.
Yeah, I'm just trying to climb that hill, and there was never a point where I was just considering to stop. Yeah, and
you gotta keep going when the going gets tough.
Yeah, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and I'm
exactly.
I'm going, but in the right direction. I'm tough. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm swole because I finished all the swoles. We've already been over those.
Smooth.
I'm a super dark swole guy now.
Yeah.
I finished everything I wanted to do in Dark Souls 3. I actually didn't do a couple of the DLC bosses, but I did most of the DLC. Then I just kind of was like, I'm kind of burnt out. I'm done with those.
Okay.
But what the DLC that I played, it was pretty solid. It had a lot of memorable set pieces and cool locations that looked cool. There were definitely some tough bosses that I did play. Sister Freed, in particular, was in the Ashes of Ariandel DLC pack. And it super threw me off because it's a 3-phase. You've heard of 2-phase fights. This is a 3-phase fight. 3 total health bars.
Yeah.
The first phase is just some chick with an ice scythe going after you.
Okay.
She has this weird thing where she like disappears and teleports behind you. And you got to find her when she's invisible. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
First phase, super easy. Second phase, and here's the main comparison that I would give between the bosses in Dark Souls 3 compared to Dark Souls 2, which Dark Souls 2 I actually played every single boss in that game.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3, the bosses are a lot more, how I would say, crapshooty.
Okay.
In a way. Dark Souls 2, it had more sort of just one-on-one, you and this one entity learn his pattern, dodge in a certain way, and you should be good. But Dark Souls 3 has more bosses where there's sort of multiple moving parts. And a lot of times you got overlapping hitboxes, and it's much more chaotic. Unless it's also possible that I'm fighting in a way where I'm not doing it properly, and there is a way to manage the chaos better than I'm doing it. But it's just easier to take a lot of random chip damage in bosses in Dark Souls 3. Like, surviving is a bit harder. I would say the bosses overall are a bit more difficult than Dark Souls 2 as a whole. I mean, specifically because when I got burnt out, I just I was trying to beat the Dark Eater midair. It's like a dragon boss. And I was just like struggling to hit him even. He was moving all over the place. And for some reason, my clients, like the Dark Souls connection, got lost 2 different times as I was doing it. I think the servers were messing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw this. I think I'm done with this game. It was still like a great game though, obviously. And I think I did all but 2 bosses, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And
did you?
I guess going back to Sister. Go ahead.
Did you do every boss in Dark Souls 2? Right.
Every single boss in Dark Souls 2. Yeah. Okay. I think I can say I preferred, of the 3 games, Dark Souls 2 I had the best experience with.
That's crazy.
I mean, 3 was good. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. But it just, I don't know. Something about 2, it resonated with me more. And the bosses felt more, there were definitely some weak bosses in Dark Souls 2 that you just one-shot and forget about. But the bosses that are good in that game are really, really good. But yeah, going back to Sister Freed, like, with the crap shootiness is off the charts in second phase because you got this super big dude who shows up with this bowl and he's like smashing this bowl on the ground on top of the chick you were fighting in phase 1 is revived and like swinging her scythe at you again. So you got like her with her scythe, like shooting ice attacks at you. This big dude smashing his bowl on you does a lot of damage if it hits you. It's much harder to manage the chaos of the 2 things going on. But eventually you get through it. And then it was pretty tough getting through that second phase. But then there's a third phase where the woman is revived once again. And it's just her, but she has like dark attacks.
Okay.
And they're more powerful and she's more crazy. And I think that boss took me a couple of hours. But yeah, I eventually got through it. It was a really good boss, but it was definitely tough getting through 3 phases without dying.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, the Ring City was the other DLC. And it was actually quite lengthy. There was all these sections to it. There's the first section, which was actually, one of the bonfires you could teleport from leading up to the final boss, which I didn't know was the final boss when I played it. You could teleport from that area to this DLC, which makes sense now because, like, I was like, why would you go to this optional area if the final boss is right here? It's DLC. it's DLC, so that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
It's a really cool area with a lot of sandy ground where you can actually fall from whatever height you want and not take fall damage, which is cool.
Oh, okay.
And there's all these areas where there's preset. It's not people put in orange messages. It's just like in the game and it says, take the plunge, you won't die. And when I first saw it, I'm like, I've seen enough of these person put in messages to know it's probably a trick. But no, it wasn't a trick. You can actually just fall down 1,000,000 meters and be fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it always looks cool when you're falling down this huge hole in Dark Souls and you're like going super fast and then you're fine.
Yeah.
And it just looks epic. And there's a whole section sort of designed around that. And it has these big angel enemies where they're extremely annoying and they shoot all these light spears at you that they're hard to avoid. But you have to you don't shoot at them, you defeat their root entity thing on the ground somewhere, and then it kills them.
Oh, is this the tree area?
Yeah, it has a lot of branches and stuff.
Yeah, you're like climbing on the root, or like
there's like these really thick roots.
Yeah, and you're just like okay, I've seen this area.
Have you seen this gameplay?
I've seen this area before.
Okay, yeah, it's a pretty cool area. Which leads into another pretty tough boss, but easier than Sister Freed, which was like, again, to go back to crap shootiness, it's two different things, Demon in Pain and Demon from Below. And it's like two of the same demon enemy. They switch between a fire variant and a poison variant, where they'll shoot poison attacks at you, then they'll become fire and have all these fire attacks. And when you beat that phase, again, there'll be a second phase where it's just one with double the health bar with even crazier moves and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that boss was also quite difficult, but I got through it. And that leads into another section where you actually get to the Ring City. And I don't know, it was fucking dope. It was solid DLC all around, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
A solid game. Didn't meet my expectations that DS2 had. I think part of why I enjoyed DS2 so much was it was during when I was unemployed and I can just play it whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
And there's something about being unemployed and you can just sink in so much time into something, you get more invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
When I have my gameplay split up into more chunks, it's hard to be as in the moment, I guess.
Okay.
That being said, though, still like solid stuff all around.
If you were to give, all right, let's go into the mind of Trey.
Oh boy. Right.
If you were to give a numbered score to each Dark Souls game,
this is tough.
Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm.
What would the numbers end up being?
Man,
out of 10.
Dude, I don't even know, because I've seen the most gameplay from Dark Souls 1 because I've gone back and watched speed runs and challenge runs and whatnot.
Randomizers
too, like Barbarous King did some of those.
Yeah.
And Dark Souls 1, I don't know if it's just weird nostalgia instilled into me or something, but it just has the most like iconic moments in the Souls series, I think.
Why do you think you have that nostalgia?
And not even nostalgia. There's a better word for it. Just like iconicness to it.
The iconic-y.
I don't know. All the set. I don't know. Dark Souls 1 is classic. Like you can just tell it's a classic.
Okay.
They were trying out. I mean, of course, there was Demon Souls, but they essentially took that and like they sort of perfected it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, I guess, the main thing I can do, because I would have a radically different experience playing Dark Souls 1 now versus my initial blind playthrough.
Oh, yeah.
Because back then I was a total scrub, didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know that rolling gave you iframes, for God's sake.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then eventually you learn that and you're like, oh, I know how to dodge stuff now. Cool. I always assumed like rolling is cool, but can't they still hit me mid-roll or something? But no, they can't.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the instilled nostalgia or whatever, because like I actually played it when it came out. And
well, see, I don't know. I said instilled nostalgia. That might just be all like the fan response seeping into me, being like, yeah, I see what they're talking about. It's so classic. Oh my God.
It's the first. It's
so good. It's so perfect. It's not perfect.
No. Don't let Kale hear you say that.
I'm going off of what I feel like my experience would be if I played that game now.
Okay.
I guess I could just compare, because while the games are relatively similar in their combat, there are certain systems they changed up to try to improve the overall feel of it.
Yeah.
Like they changed how forging works in each game. They changed how your Estus flask work in general. I think the best Estus system, I got to give it to 3, because you sort of just get more shards over time. I guess it is similar to 2, though. I don't know. I feel like 1 had too many things you do at your bonfire, because there's like, you kindle the bonfire and it gives you more Estus for that area.
Yeah.
Which is okay, I guess, but I don't know. I prefer just the 2 and 3 system.
Sure.
And As I mentioned before, I prefer leveling up at the bonfire, not having to find a specific NPC. I hate that. So minus points to 2 and 3 for that. Even if it's some story bullshit, I don't care. It's just convenience.
Too much water.
I never too much water. 7 out of 10. I never played the DLC in 1, but I've seen gameplay of it because I've watched challenge runs of it.
Yeah.
I guess.
What are you getting to?
I'm trying to figure out my rating out of 10. It's tough.
One of the things that I enjoyed in Dark Souls 1 was like kindling the bonfire and then being like, oh, I get 20 Estus flasks here, and then I would just like go from there and go like instead of using warp, I would just go and like explore the world versus just like warp everywhere and just have the better bonfire in a specific location.
I think the exploration. I think that 2 and 3 had cooler looking areas.
Sure.
But 1 still had the best exploration, just given the fact that you couldn't teleport till like in game.
Yeah.
And you're forced to just sort of explore this world, and there's that fear of, am I going to be able to get to the next bonfire without dying? And all that stuff.
Yeah, when do you get, in Dark Souls 1, when do you get teleportation?
You get it after the Ornstein and Snow fight.
Oh, yeah.
When you talk to the amazing chest woman.
Oh, that's when you get it? Guinevere.
Yeah, Guinevere. But yeah, I think... See, I definitely do value that exploration part of it.
Yeah. No, as you should. It's a great part of it.
See, I would probably...
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Okay, I gotta preface this. They're all amazing games in their own right.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but
you always preface it that way.
I think I gotta give 3 the weakest of the 3.
Ooh,
to a small degree, a 0.5 smidgen of a degree, a 0.5, maybe even 0.3. We're going into 0.3s now.
We're getting 0.3. We're IGN via.
We're going outside the scope of 0.5 intervals here. Okay, we're getting serious.
All right.
I would give Dark Souls 1 a 9.2.
Oh, geez. Okay. Sure.
Dark Souls 2, a 9.4.
Okay. Yeah.
And Dark Souls 3, an 8.9.
Okay.
Because I said so.
You got to knock points off for...
Just purely from what I experienced and everything. I don't really have a ton of reasons for those ratings, but there you go.
You were so dead set. Like you could have just been like, they're all 9s. You know, they're all about 9.
I'm going to tell you, I definitely had my preferences. I think the one that I played the most and went back to and did the most stuff in was 2 for a reason, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so weird though, because I can notice the huge flaws that 2 has everyone talks about.
Yeah.
But something about those flaws, it's like I don't care, you know?
Like what flaw?
Well, there's the flaw. It's like, oh, you can just buy all the healing items you want and stuff. And there's... Well, people don't like the teleportation thing, but 3 has that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people have a lot of complaints about 2. They're like, oh, healing takes too long to do with the Estus Flask. The hit detection's weird. I didn't notice too much weird hit detection stuff with 2, honestly. Maybe because it was the Scholar of the First Sin edition.
Maybe.
Might have fixed some stuff by then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that's how the cookie crumbles with Dark Souls.
I'm swole. 3, amazing game. Just, 1's a classic, so you can't really fault it. I'm giving the Trihex ratings now. 1, it's the first of its kind. You can't really fault it. Ignoring Demon Souls. And then 2 just fucking
sucks.
2 had 5x things to do. So
then Dark
what
Souls
up? 3. What up, haters?
Dark Souls 3 sucks. Dark Souls 3 sucks. He knows.
That is those are my swole opinions of Dark Swoles.
Yeah.
There you go.
But see, it's like interesting. I don't know. Like if I had to give like a numbered score to Vanquish, like because that's the most recent hard game, or like video games are hard. Hello, welcome. It's episode 23. Hey,
hey, video games are indeed hard.
I finished Vanquish and I almost put it on my top 10. I almost put it in my honorable mentions at the very least.
Why wasn't it an honorable mention?
Pardon me?
Why wasn't it an honorable mention?
Because like I like it was too fresh. You know, like I didn't know.
Yeah, there is like that recency bias you got to avoid.
Yeah, and like I've enjoyed my time with it. I really don't want to play God Hard ever again. I'm gonna have to do it one more time.
Yeah.
But
you're still doing that for your marathon, right?
Yeah, I do. Woo! I am dreading it. But dude, I did like Act 5 attempts, and I got like 6th try final boss, and I'm like, dope. And then I did it again, and I lost an hour just trying to beat the final boss again because you just don't know. Like the final boss is just so fucking hard. That it's just like every so often you're just gonna die, and I was just like so defeated by it. But like if
you just gotta learn some basic strats to somewhat improve your chances of beating it.
What?
I guess.
What strats?
You gotta make them. I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck these strats are.
Figure out the strats.
But if I was to give Vanquish like a numbered score, like I would have to ignore the story. Because the story is just kind of like whatever. You're on just like the satellite in space, and the Russians are evil, and the actually America's working with like what the hell's the story? And and you're just playing this guy named Sam, and it would just be like all combat and like kind of world buildy ish stuff. Like from pure gameplay, I think it's very fun to play, and the guns are fun. But like if I had to put everything together, it'd probably be like, I don't know, 7.5 out of 10, 7. Like probably what it got when it came out, just kind of like middle of the road. But like from what I want out of it, like skippable cutscenes. Not that I want, not it's pure
speedrunners just want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting.
It is fucking disgusting.
Skippable cutscenes.
But having that, or just like being able to just go through it again and have replay value and like the satisfaction of the guns or whatever is very nice. Being able to play God Hard mode and not hate it so terribly. Like maybe the third playthrough of God Hard mode I might despise, like actually having to go through it. But like I don't know, it was very fun.
Do you think your rating went up the more you played it?
No.
I
don't think it went higher, but I don't think it like went lower. I think it's just like about the same.
Okay.
I don't think replaying it hurt me, but there are definitely things in God Hard they didn't fucking test.
Yeah.
Like there are.
It's like maddening mode in FE3. There's like or FE3 houses.
Yeah.
There were obviously missions that were way too hard for where they were, and ones that were way too easy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of a mess. It was still fun though.
Like there are in God Hard mode. There's these gold like goons. There's just like the regular just Geth. If you play Mass Effect, just the Geth robots that are just like the red guys, and they kill you or whatever. There's these gold ones in God Hard. I don't know if they're in Hard because I can't remember what my Hard playthrough was, but there's just these yellow guys and there are these golden guys, and you're just like, oh, okay, these ones are harder. And those ones, when you peek out of cover, frame perfect hit you. Like if you're out of cover for more than a second, they're on you and shooting you. And there's a mission with like this whole plaza area in God Hard mode where it's all golden bots and nothing else. It's not like it actually ends with one of those like tank cars or whatever that just kind of focus on you and kill you. But it's a lot more lag than that. But right off the bat, you have to kill. There's, I don't know, 20 or so, maybe more. Just golden little robot dudes that are just like basic goons. But when you peek out of cover, you can see them. If you go in slow motion or go in overdrive, you can see them all just like slowly turn to you if you go out of cover. And like literally the strat that I've developed is have a sniper rifle, get out of cover for literally like the amount of overdrive time that you have, shoot one of them in the head, roll back into cover. And just like take advantage of overdrive that way. And you kill 5 and then the cutscene plays and you go back into cover and you just recycle and recycle and recycle. If you've ever seen me do it, you would like you probably have never seen me do it. I've actually practiced it on stream because I just have to like roll the dice and get a sniper rifle in the back. But it's just like they didn't test this mission on God Hard. They just like if anybody played it, you're just like, why would they make it so that if you're out of cover for 3 seconds or like 2 seconds, you're just dead? And
not only that, but they actually punish you for being in cover too much.
Yeah,
in the score system.
Exactly.
Fuck you for being in cover too much. You get minus points for that.
But yeah, there's just like I don't know. There are missions where I got more satisfaction out of being like, oh, I beat it on God hard, or like that was
and then some where it was just too stupid.
Yeah, like we were talking about Dark Souls. There's like there's these scorpion enemies that really remind me of gargoyles, and like you can't focus on one forever if you have both, because the other one will just kind of destroy you. And there's just these scorpion guys, and it's very satisfying on God hard to just kill them. But then, like, when there's just, like, these golden random troop guys, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I have to focus on this guy, because if I'm out of cover for 3 seconds, he's just going to lock onto me and kill me. And it's tough. But, yeah, I think I'd probably just give it overall, like, a 7.5. I love it for what I get out of it, but I can't really go, like, oh, the story's ingenious, or... but I do really like the combat. I don't know. The combat's pretty good for a third-person shooter.
You know what? I'm going to bump up my Dark Souls 3 rating to a 9.0.
Yeah.
Because I just remembered a really funny, memorable moment. You know, like the onion head guy?
Yeah.
The famous, I forget his name. He has like an onion armor head.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is.
There's a section that's really funny and kind of endearing where he's sitting on the side of this cathedral thing when you get to him. Actually, so you find him. It's this big elevator to the top of this cathedral, and then you can go down as well.
Uh-huh.
And as you're going up, you can hear this humming sound.
Okay.
And it gets you to like turn and look to the side, and you have to actually step off halfway up this elevator, or else you'll miss it entirely. And it's like, oh, it's the onion head guy. What's up, dude? And he's like, oh, you see that monster over there? He looks pretty vicious. And you just look over, you see this big ass fiery monstrosity rocking down the road.
Uh-huh.
And then you fall down below where he is. The monster sees you, and he's like, oh, now you've done it. Now I gotta go in there and defeat him. And then you're fighting this monster, him and the onion head guy. And it's such an epic moment. And like you end up beating him, and he like gives you this thing, and he's like, oh, we did it. Oh my God. Yeah, the onion head guy is cool. That's all I got.
You just give it an extra 0.1 for that?
Yeah, because that was a fun moment.
Oh, I forgot about this one fun moment. 9. You know what, Dark Souls 3? You get a 9.
I remember Dark Souls 2 had a thing, as far as I haven't had like a whole lot of super memorable NPC interactions. Oh, actually, no, I guess all 3 games had one. Dark Souls 1, I remember in the catacombs, I remember you told me this didn't happen to you, but it happened to me, where the guy who betrays you in the, not Demon Ruins, that place that's totally pitch black, I forget the name of it. He like tries to push you off this cliff and stuff.
Sure.
But in the catacombs, there's a bridge that like rotates, and one side has spikes and then one side doesn't.
Okay.
And as you're crossing, you see him at this switch that does it. He's just like chilling there. He's like, hey, what's up? Cathedral, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know what he says. And then you leave, you go across this bridge, and it flips over and kills you. As you're like, so this guy actually just pulled the switch on you and killed you. And you're like, oh, dude, fuck this guy.
Which game is this?
This is Dark Souls 1.
I can't, yeah.
And I remember I went back to that NPC. I thought about just killing him right there. You talk to him, he's like, oh, I guess someone must have slipped or something. Like, dude, I know it was you. You're standing there. Fuck you. So that was fun. Then Dark Souls 2 actually had a thing where there's this set of 2 NPCs that are enemies, and they warn you of each other.
Yeah.
And I guess you sort of have to decide which one you trust more.
Okay.
Because one guy tells you, as far as I can recall, he's like, oh, look out for this one guy. He's trying to stab me, or he did this dumb thing. I don't remember. But you end up seeing both of them in different context, and you have to like sort of decide who's the worst person, like which one should I kill or save and stuff.
Okay.
And that was dope. And yeah, Dark Souls 2.
I don't remember running into either of those.
Yeah, it's stuff that's like very, as we would always say, in the weeds of the game.
For sure,
it's,
in the weeds.
It's no boss or level, or it's just random NPC stuff that you may or may not encounter.
Yeah.
So that can be memorable too.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of in the weeds, so we were talking about ILs a little earlier. Just a while earlier, before we talked about Dark Souls and Vanquish and Swedish and all that stuff. We were talking about Sandbird for a bit, and So I've been recently, we were talking about the ILs, and like not to go into a world record history or anything like that, but I've been trying to get some of the hundo records back.
I've been doing a lot of ILs too. Actually, sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
I finally, after many, many sessions of trying to do it while listening to a podcast or watching a stream or something, finally got a 15 Bianco 7.
Yeah.
I've had a 16.00 for many years at this point.
Is it worth it?
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, I literally got 18 points for saving one frame.
That's so crazy.
And a silver medal to boot. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
I improved my pin to 2 as well. So yeah, go ahead.
I think I still have a 16.02 in Bianco 7. But anyway, I've been trying to improve the 100 coin shines because I'm the hundos guy. I'm the word guy, the hundos guy, the phone guy, But we doing the hundos, and I got Serena hundo back like a month ago or a couple months ago. I got Bianco hundo back. Dude, the Bianco hundo back was such a grind. I did like a 7.
I like how you hate that level now.
I hate that level. That level sucks.
Trey, what are you talking about? It's a great level. Come on.
See, like during RTA, it's like totally fine. You don't have to do everything perfect. You just kind of roughly go through it, and you're like, oh, I got a 40, or oh, I got sub 40. That's dope, a 240 time. And but like in ILs, you're just like, oh, I screwed up the first flower bed. Oh, I didn't get a good spider. Oh, the second spider wasn't there. Oh, it's just like go through the step-by-step process, and then you get over the wall, and you're just like, okay, now I can't choke this. And then it's just like, it's like over and over again, and it just becomes such a grind. It wasn't even satisfying to get that record. Like I got that record by frames. Like I can't. Like I got a 203. The record was like barely 204 or something. And I was like,
I feel like of any level, it's hardest to be satisfied with 100 coins because a mistake's almost inevitable at some point.
Yeah,
and you just think back to, man, if I didn't do that one mistake, it'd be so much better.
And like I got the record, and then I kept playing for another hour. Like there's this issue that I have in my brain where it's just like I can't end on a high note. And like I get the record, and then I play for another hour, and I'm just like, wow, this sucks. And then I just
I think I have the opposite problem where I'm often too quick to rest on my laurels in ILs.
Yeah.
Actually, so what happened earlier today, I got a bronze time on Pin 2 Secrets.
Sure.
Tied with many people. It's like a 20. I don't fucking remember. It's a 0.57.
Pin 2.
Yeah, Pin 2 Secret. Very optimized, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Only Jur having the number one time a frame faster than me and like 5 others.
Yeah.
So I actually got a 0.61, but I never started my recording.
No.
And was like, oh, damn, that would have been a really good time. Guess I got to do it again.
Yeah.
And I think had I been recording that whole time, I would have just settled on the 0.61. But because I forced myself to keep going because I didn't record, I ultimately got a 0.57. So I think I'm often just too quick to, like, yeah, that's a pretty good time. I don't really want to keep going. But sometimes I probably should push some more, and then I could probably do a little better.
Oh, it's really not satisfying. As somebody that keeps doing it, where it's just like, oh, I got the record, but like, man, I could do that so much better. I got a high 203, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep playing. Not like my brain wasn't like, yeah, let's keep going. My brain was like, I guess I'll keep going, and then I just kept going.
That was definitely not me on Sandbird. My Sandbird time was insane.
Yeah,
and then now it sucks because it's like, well, there's a strat I didn't do with limping the rocket, but oh well.
Well, see, that's what I was talking about with Modest Tomato last week, where we were talking about how his Bianco 3 Reds IL, like the euphoria he felt when he got it. Like I wish I got that when I got records. You know?
Yeah, I love that feeling. Obviously.
Yeah. and like because I got the Bianco 100s record by frames or whatever, and then I kept playing for another hour, and like I ended the stream being like, ugh, like this is terrible. I hate this. This is bad. And like my mentality was shot, even though I got it. And and the Serena one was way better. I was just like, yeah, like it was like my last attempt of just like, okay, one more attempt, and I got it. And I'm like, yeah, got it. Awesome.
I love
sick.
Describing your reaction. I was like, yeah.
I was like, yeah. And so I've been
sound better.
I've been grinding Rico 3 100th, which is the fastest hundo in Rico. And like it's very satisfying. We were talking about how like Lou was happy with the 206 the other week or whatever, and I'm just like sitting there going like, yeah, I'm trying to get like a 155 and stuff.
206 gang.
It's like nice to see people that are good at the game just like, oh, I'm happy with this time, and I'm like, okay, well that makes me feel good, but still I've been playing these levels for so fucking long, and trying to optimize these, but I'm really close. I got a 155.3.
Are you doing fetch strat?
I haven't implemented it.
Dude, you could save so much time if you did that.
Dude, I need to rewatch the video. Like when I start doing a grind.
Dude, okay, you got to do this one task. You have to sit there, watch a video. Yeah, I know it's awful, right? You got to do it. So
yeah, I got to watch.
I think it saves like close to 2 seconds though, or something.
I need to like actually see. Whenever I sit down to do a grind, I never go like, oh, I want to learn something. You know, I just kind of want to sit and do it. But this
doesn't look too bad. Literally, it's just like a rollout into the coins, jump dive onto the cage, into rocket from the momentum sliding down the cage.
Yeah.
Up to the raptor, and then boom.
See, yeah, so. you when you use your silver tongue, you make it sound so easy, but like, I don't know, when I'm doing like an IL grind, I don't really feel like, oh, okay, so I'll spend the first 15 minutes fucking with this strat, and I'll spend the next half an hour fucking up this strat, and then I'll eventually get the hang of it. You
just want to get into it.
Yeah, I just want to get into it. And that's what I've been doing with
But you also got to sometimes work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, but like there's also some sort of like pride to it. It's just like, I just want to beat the record with the strats.
You want to beat it without like some new stuff.
Exactly. And
to prove I'm better than this redacted asshole.
Sure. Maybe.
I don't need new strats.
Maybe to some degree, but like I just don't like, I don't know, just
yeah, I feel you.
I'm 0.2 off the record. I got to 0.2. I've just been doing like, see, it's a totally different mentality than I've usually, or like a different modality than I've usually been doing, where it's just like, oh, I've literally just been doing every so often. Whenever I turn on the game, I just kind of go to Rico 100s, even if I'm offline or online or whatever. Like the other day, I did a 96 shine run, or yesterday I did a 96 shine run, and I was just like, oh, it's gonna be no reset. I died. In Pinna 2 Reds, I died in Serena 2, I died twice in Lily Pad, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just dying a lot. And then I ended up game overing in Noki 6. And I was just like, huh, this is interesting. Like, I wasn't sitting there going like, oh man, I'm washed or whatever. I just kind of went,
this video game is hard.
Yeah. And I was trying to do green side. I need to practice some stuff, but like I've been trying. Like I was trying to do a no reset and it ended up bungling, and I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. And then Ramato was in the chat, was just like, okay, Rico 100s. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do Rico 100s. And I was just like, wouldn't it be funny if I like world recorded, like after game overing in Noki or 96 shines, wouldn't it just be funny if I got the record within like 10 minutes? And then 10 minutes later, I got 0.2 off the record. And I'm like, huh, interesting. And I got 2 more 155s after that. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like it was spersed with Duolingo probably, and it's like a different, because I feel like a few months ago I would have been like, oh, I'm gonna commit 8 hours straight to this. Like I couldn't really yesterday, but if I had the rest of that day, I probably wouldn't have been like, oh, I'm gonna commit 8 hours straight to this, because I've had like 13-hour sessions of literally Bianca 100s
or Piana 8
or Piana 8 exactly, and where it's just like, see, I'm not an IL guy. Like you can attest, I'm not an IL guy.
Oh yeah, you just like, you get fixated on a specific level, usually a hundo.
Yeah.
But you don't like grind a wide swath of ILs like some people do.
No, and like
me going for all the points.
Like I'll improve, like every so often I'll turn on an IL, but then I'll go like weeks without really playing anything. And then I'll just be like, yeah, okay, like I feel like doing Rico 100s or Serena 100s or whatever. And right now the IL of the moment is Rico 100s, and I hope to get that, and then I'll have like 3 out of 8 hundos, and then I can try to like get like airstrip back, and I don't know. Ramato wants me to do Pianta 100s. I don't really want to do it. That sounds lame.
Did he say that after Despin got the record?
He's been like, he was saying it in my chat. I think Despin had already gotten the record, but he was just like, I've been trying to get you to do Pianta 100s for years, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't.
Really? For years?
Well, because I had the record before Ramato took it from me, and I've never done a grind of it since. Like,
Dude, Piano Hundreds is so rough. I hate the mushrooms.
Like, you have to do the good mushroom movement, and then you have to do the great skip, and then you have to clutch it. And
I'm capable of improving my time by at least a few seconds. I don't want to. It's so hard.
This is the niche IL conversation podcast, but it becomes part of your brain. You just like within Sunshine, you're just known for certain levels or whatever, or like just known for being an IL grinder, and then you just like want to talk about it for just a period of time. And like during commentary, it's brain rot, right? Where it's just like during commentary today, we were doing 2v2 lockout between Jeff Compass, Despin, and Ramato and Danny. And they were doing nothing relating to hundos. And I had to talk about hundos. What is my mind? Like, why on commentary on the Bingo-thon marathon do I have to sit there with pneumatic Komodo and be like, hundos?
Why would you talk about it?
I don't know. I just have brain rot. I have hundo brain rot, and I don't understand it. But
is that healthy?
No, it's brain rot.
Oh,
it's rotting.
Not good.
It's bad.
That's not good.
I have to clean the Sims 2 table of the rotting mac and cheese and dump it.
I will pretend I know what you mean by that.
I don't know. They can
the Sims 2 table of rotting mac and cheese.
Hey! It sounded right when you said it. It's like eventually it eventually sits out for too long and starts spewing. They probably
smoke. Got mac and cheese in Sims 2. I don't doubt it.
They do have mac and cheese in Sims 2.
That's a common food item.
And they have grilled cheese, and they have what is it? Fuck.
We're just listing off food in Sims 2 now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is a good point to wrap. I don't know what you.
There was a point. I think I had a point. All right, hundos, whatever. Fucking
brain rot.
Yeah, brain rot. That's all.
All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this amazing time together.
I'm chilling,
brothers and sisters. We can all join each other. We're on Spotify and Google Podcast and the YouTube channel Sid and Trey.
Mm-hmm.
This has been episode 23. And hope you all have a good night or day or whatever the fudge.
Have a good night or day or whatever the fudge.
Peace.
Bye.